Welcome back to Mysteries of the Mind. I know I haven't tackled a subject in this series for quite a while. However, I have started receiving some requests for them and decided to start interjecting them once again. That being said, let's jump into the video. In this week's video, I wanted to dive into the extremely misunderstood diagnosis of ADHD. As a person who has people in her life that has this, I know there are many confusing theories and misunderstandings as to what exactly this is or what it means. I also want to add that I am in no way an expert, and what I cover here can only barely scratch the surface of the subject, as I always mentioned. But I have noticed that when I have done these videos, not only do I find surprising facts for myself, but I usually shed some light on the subject for whoever's listening as well. So what is exactly ADHD? I know from experience that many people passively make snide comments and interject their assessment of what ADHD really is. So let's clear that up today. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, is one of the most common neurodevelopmental disorders. Recent data indicates that up to 8 to 10% of school-aged children meet the necessary criteria for this diagnosis. There are 3 common types. Inattentive, basically, the child lacks an attention span but is not hyperactive. This used to be considered ADD. Hyperactive, this child can pay attention, however, they display deficient activity and impulse control. Then there's combined. This child would struggle with both attention and behavior, and it is the most common form. It's also been discovered that it seems to be more prevalent in males than females, by a ratio of 2 to 1. The following are symptoms of ADHD: careless mistakes, lack attention to detail, trouble focusing and following through on tasks, difficulty listening even when spoken to directly, fails to follow through and becomes easily sidetracked, difficulty organizing and initiating work, avoids tasks requiring sustained mental effort, regularly loses things like keys and phones, easily distracted, forgetful, fidgets, squirms, feels restless or unable to sit still, difficulty with quiet activities. The list goes on and on. There are helpful tips for living better with ADHD or helping someone you care about live better with it. This checklist will also help you better understand the needs of your loved one better as well. Plan the day from the start. Knowing exactly what you want to accomplish during the day saves time and may help you or your loved one from trying to take on too much. Prioritize. Figure out what needs to get done and what would be nice to get done. Plan for tomorrow. Take a little time to look ahead and set expectations for the next day so you can better manage your priorities. Create routines. And carve out me time. Of course, everyone loves this, but this is especially crucial for those with ADHD. There's a study done by the ADHD Institute that breaks down the structural differences in the brain and the neurotransmitter alterations in the brain. If you're struggling to understand this diagnosis for yourself or someone you care about, you should really check out the website, which I will have linked in the description box. Over the years, I have struggled to understand it for myself. But if you have someone in your life in some manner that has ADHD, it can be frustrating to understand this diagnosis at first. But once you acknowledge it and really try to learn as much as you can about it, it will help you and them to have a better, stronger relationship. In many cases, ADHD can be treated with therapy or medication or a combination of both. There are even some studies done that show foods to avoid that severely affect the behavior of someone with ADHD. The most surprising food to me on that list was caffeine, only because everyone else has interjected and stated that they heard that caffeine was good for those with ADHD because it would have a reverse effect. Actually, it's the contrary, and there is no evidence that supports this theory. Additionally, Evidence has shown the opposite. I've also provided a link to that food list in the description box, and I highly suggest you check that out as well. It was extremely enlightening for me. Also, if you know someone who could be helped by any of this information, please pass it on. A simple diet change or eliminating one thing could really help someone who has this or someone in their life that has ADHD. While it's believed that many children will outgrow some of these symptoms, there are some that will not. In fact, there are 1 in 30 adults that suffer from ADHD, which has positive attributes and negative ones as well. Adults with ADHD have difficulties in their relationships, but if their attributes are better understood, it might improve their relationship as well as communication. For anyone who is an adult with ADHD or who is in a relationship of some kind with someone who has ADHD, you know that the person with ADHD has to work much harder at all of their personal relationships than others do. Although ADHD comes with its own challenges, so do many things in life. If you're looking for a kind-hearted, generous person who thinks outside the box and sees things in a different way with endless amounts of energy, then you are going to want to find someone with ADHD. And if you yourself have ADHD, remember those good attributes about yourself and remember to focus on those. If you have a topic you would like to cover, please send me a message through any of my social media links or email me at duchessdark676@gmail.com. See you next time.